Hi, I'm Maddie.
My name is Diane. Madison has reached out to Survivor Secretariat on Six Nations to get in touch with a survivor of a residential school. So I have responded and I have given Madison permission to do the audio and the video, to do the audio and the visual. Sorry. And so I want that to be very clear. Presently, there's survivors of different residential schools that are being exploited. So this is not an exploitation of me or a survivor. Um, I do grant her permission to do this. So thank you. And we'll start for my name.
Nice. Um, can you tell me a bit about your family or where you lived before you attended the Mohawk Institute?
Yes, I grew up on Six Nations my entire life. I was raised on Sixth Line at the intersection of what is now Tuscarora Road and Sixth Line. I have 8 siblings. Grandparents lived with us until Grandpa built a new house, which was 5 minutes away. My parents, my siblings, and it was perfect. Life was perfect.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Do you remember anything about your first day at the Mohawk Institute? What did you feel?
I felt extremely scared. Yeah. Extremely. When I seen this institution, to me, and I had just turned 7, it was a hospital. It was very, very, very scary. I didn't know the adults around me. I didn't know where they took my brother. I didn't know where they took my sister. They left with strangers that didn't look like us. They were dressed so differently. And my main focus was finding my mom's hospital room so I could get in bed with her. And she
Did your teachers make you change your name or appearance?
Absolutely. It wasn't only the teachers, as in an educational teacher. The supervising women were called house mothers, and they were the ones that were on site with us. And these house mothers made sure that we were not called by our names. We had no names. Very, very recently, all the children were tattooed, and you were called by your tattooed number. When I got there, I was not tattooed with number 12, but I became number 12. So my cubby, my locker, where I found my nightgown, where I found my jumper, where I found my boots, everything was number 12. They erased our name. Nobody had names except the girls that could speak a bit would give each other nicknames. Or you
were you allowed to speak your language or practice your culture? What would happen if you ended up accidentally speaking or practicing your culture?
We were not allowed to speak our language. If you did, there was various disciplinary measures taken. Strapping, whipping, getting your mouth washed out with a bar of soap, putting the bar of soap in your mouth and holding it there sometimes for hours.
Wow.
There was a lot of disciplinary measures taken if you were caught speaking your language.
Mm-hmm.
I was incarcerated there November 23rd, 1963, and it was 10 days after I turned 7. So it was hard, but
Yeah.
you survive.
Yeah.
Somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you miss most from your culture and your traditions when you were at the Mush Hole?
What did I miss most? My mom. My mom.
Yeah.
My mom.
Were you able to see her when you got out?
Yes. I missed my mom most.
Yeah.
My family. It was.
You arrived when you were 6, right?
I arrived November 23rd, 1963. It was 10 days after I turned 7.
How long did you stay at the residential school, if you don't mind me asking?
How long did I
Yeah.
stay there? There's a documented date that I left, but sometimes I'm still there.
Yeah.
Be here today. I don't know why I'm here. Why did I survive? Like why did I come out of there when many didn't? Many didn't. Where are they? So why did I come out? You know, that's, I think that it was Canada's genocide on Indigenous children. Why did I survive that genocide? I don't know. I don't know. What is my purpose? To help you? I hope so. Yeah. Yeah.
For meal times, were you together with anyone, or was it literally just eat your food and get back to chores?
Eat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll come to a short story here, an experience. My first meal there was in the morning.
Yeah.
It was mush, and my mother had always, so I knew what mush was. We always had oatmeal at home. And when we got this mush up there at the Mush Hole, there was this little girl, and she was behind me. Really pretty little girl, but she was really petite. So I thought, I'll help her. Okay. So away we went. We got our mush, and we went and sat down. I looked at hers, and it was boiling, like, psh, psh, psh. I'm just like, oh my God, she's gonna get hurt. And so I took my spoon and I stirred it, and I blew on it. And so the little girl beside me, she had taken a spoonful and she ate it. And when she ate it, she reached over like that and she vomited on the floor. And I did find out then that it was, and this is documented, that when the Mush Hole bought like 50-pound bags of oatmeal, flour, whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
when they bought 50-pound bags of stuff, it was mostly extremely old. So it had maggots in it.
Oh.
And so what happened was when it got cooked, these maggots would hatch. And so that was the movement of the cereal. That was so Yeah, that was my first meal.
Wow. Yeah. What happens, like, if you didn't follow the rules? Would you just be like disciplined?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They changed with each staff person. One house mother may allow something and the next one didn't. And the next one might be severe punishment. The other one might just slap you across the face or pull your hair or whatever, or punch you. But the other one might be more severe. But the rules were unwritten.
You.
As long as you conformed to the military regimented style of existing, you might not get hit. But even if you did,
There's still a
sometimes you did.
chance.
Yeah.
Were there any songs or prayers or memories that helped you cope or like bring comfort?
Absolutely. I learned really, really well how to say, and this was every night, and I couldn't speak English, but I learned to say this. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Up until 3 years ago, for some reason, those words came to me. And I really thought about them. Wow. And it was this really nice house mother that taught me those words. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. What does that mean? And so now, and as an adult, and learning about English, and knowing what I do as a survivor of the Mush Hole, and knowing what I do as a Survivor Secretariat board member, my present thinking is, did she give me last rites? Was that my last rites? Was I not going to make it through the night? I don't know. I'll never know. Was she teaching me the words of last rites? I don't know. So now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take.
Mm-hmm.
It has a whole different meaning for me as an adult. And when I know of the number of missing children from residential schools and from the Mush Hole, was I given last rites? Was each of us given last rites as children, not knowing that we were going to see the daylight? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something I really, really wonder about as an adult. And it comes back to, why did I survive? I don't know. I don't know. One word
Describe
to
residential
describe
schools, or just your experience.
my experience. Hell.
Yeah.
Hell is real.
Yeah.
I lived it. But it was a system. It was a system. A system, and I'll say again, it was a system of genocide on Indigenous children. Yeah. I was trafficked there. To put it in contemporary terms,
Yeah.
I was trafficked there November 23rd, 1963. Yeah. So, Canada and the Anglican Church and the Six Nations Welfare Department implemented, devised the longest running child trafficking system across Canada. And when you look at the purpose of the residential school, and I would never, let me put it this way. When you learn those skills help you through life. The cooking, the cleaning, the sewing, the relationships, they help you through life. And so that brings you a comfort. Okay, that's great. However, what was the purpose of the residential school? To lose your identity. So to those people who are brainwashed as children into thinking it was a great experience, I say it in your language. What identity do you have? Because that was the purpose of the residential schools. Yeah. And I know Pope Francis called it genocide of culture. Murray Sinclair, he has passed, so I have to acknowledge that in the language. He also called it cultural genocide, but to me, it was a system of full-blown genocide on Indigenous children. Yeah. What school has a graveyard?
None.
Every single residential school has a graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Because.
Yeah. Why do we have specific Indian hospitals that I shared with you earlier? Dr. Paulette Steve's website, Indian hospitals. So when the children experience traumatic physical injuries through a beating, through experimentation, through injected with an illness, tuberculosis, scarlet fever, measles, whatever, where do those children go when there's so many of them? They go to an Indian hospital. There's no Asian hospitals. There's no black hospitals, no white hospitals. Why was there a need for Indian hospitals?
If you don't mind me asking, when you came home, did you at least have like a family to go to? Well, not like at least, did you have a family to go to is what I meant.
When I come home, they came after us. And my mom had two things behind the kitchen door. We lived in a small red house, no electricity and no running water. But we were together. My mom had two things behind the door, the kitchen door. She had a loaded shotgun and she had a broom, a corn broom. And up our laneway came this black car. And the driver got out and the passenger got out. And we were looking out the window because my mom said, don't you kids go outside. Dosa atste ya tego, dosa atste ne, dosa tine say, don't be doing that. Don't try to go outside. Like this wasn't our visitors. This wasn't our neighbors. There were two men from the residential school that come to take us back. And we were looking out the window and the driver got out, passenger got out, and they had those clothes on that the men had on at the Mush Hole. My mom got the gun. She got the shotgun. And she pulled the door open like that. And because it hit against the wall. And my mom wasn't forceful like that. But she threw it open like that. And she had that gun. And she shot. And she shot over their car. And they left. And they never come back. But they come back after us. And usually it was the RCMP that come and got kids. And they would hold back the adults or charge them or jail them and then say the kids were abandoned, and then they would go after the kids. But that's what happened at our house. And so when I went home, you got to be with your family. You got to be with your mom. My mom was home. My mom wasn't in that hospital. She was home. I got to see my mom.
If you don't mind, do you want to continue?
What do we have?
What helped you to begin to heal, and what has helped you stay strong?
What has helped me to begin to heal?
Yeah.
My mom.
Your mom.
My mom. When we come home, I don't know how many days we were home. I don't know how many sleeps. But Mom hugged us all. And she said she was crying. I never seen my mom cry before. But my mom was crying. And she was hugging us. And in English, she said, my babies are different now. I don't know what she meant. I still don't know what she meant. I don't know, but she was crying. She was crying. And I can't imagine the mothers that had their children taken and didn't get them back and not know where they were gone. We were lucky. We got to be with our mom again, but some didn't. So that's what helped me to heal was my mom. My mom. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of kids didn't make it out of there. And a lot did.
Yeah. What do you feel like people misunderstand about the residential schools or the Mush Hole?
That these are not stories. This is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
These are not stories.
These are real life examples.
This is lived experience. This is not stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth. And no matter how you cannot, not meaning you,
Yeah.
meaning people in general, cannot fathom the depth of cruelty,
It happened.
it's still a truth. Any apology of sorry is nothing to me as a survivor. It's absolutely empty words. It's nothing. It means nothing to me. What have you done to right this wrong? What have you done?
What will you do to make it better? So, lastly, if my classmates or anyone could remember one thing from our conversation today, what should it be?
Listen. Listen.
Listen.
Listen.
Mm-hmm.
To listen. When you listen, you learn.
You too.
And when you learn, you understand. You don't just know, you
Mm-hmm.
understand. And like I said, those are polarized skill sets, to know something and to understand something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the biggest thing you can do is to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is to listen.
Thank you so much for letting me talk to you today. I'm glad we could meet, and I'm glad that you were able to share your story.
Well, I deeply, graciously thank you for sharing this, for taking the time, for taking up this project, which is, I can see from your passion, it's way more than a project. I can see that. I feel that. Your sincerity. And I really appreciate that. So to have and to know that people like you are out in society, it gives me a lot of hope to say, you know what? There's not just cruel people in this world. There's kind, generous people in the world that listen. And there are young people like you. So I thank you for taking the time to do this. Yeah. So I want to say now to you, I thank you. I thank you deeply. Thank you.
You too.